Okay, in this video I want to go over the division algorithm for dividing an integer by another integer. So suppose we want to calculate 8,635 divided by 5. What we're looking for is a number that when multiplied by 5 equals 8,635. First of all, let's get an idea of how many digits this number is going to have. If I do 8,635 divided by 5, how many digits would I expect the number to have? It'll have 4 digits because 8,635 is more than 5,000, right? So 5 times 1,000 is 5,000, but 5 times 10,000 is 50,000, and 8,635 is between 5,000 and 50,000. So my number is going to have 4 digits. And I'm trying to figure out what those digits are. Well, remember that any 4-digit number, I can write it as some number times 1,000 plus some number times 100 plus some number times 10 plus some number. So this number, when I multiply it by 5, should give me 8,635. 5 times something times 1,000 plus something times 100 plus something times 10 plus something should equal 8,635. And I'm trying to figure out what numbers go in the blanks. Well, let's distribute the 5 across. If I distribute the 5 across on the left, then I'm going to get some number times 5,000 plus 500 times some number plus 50 times some number plus 5 times some number equals 8,635. So I'm trying to figure out what 4 numbers will fit in the blanks. Well, let's look at this first number. I look at the number 8635 here, and I compare it to 5,000. 8,635 is more than 5,000, but it's less than 10,000. So what number goes in that blank? A 1, right? Because it can't be 2, because that would be 10,000, that's too much. So the number that goes here is 1. So now this first number is 5,000 times 1. I'm going to subtract that on both sides. That will give me 500 times a blank plus 50 times a blank plus 5 times a blank equals 8,635 minus 5,000. 8,635 minus 5,000 is 3,635. Now I want to figure out what number goes in this blank. Well, that's going to be 7, because 500 times 7 is 3,500. That's less than 3,635, but it can't be 8 because that would be 4,000, which is too much. So that number is 7. Again, I'm going to subtract the first number on both sides. 500 times 7 is 3,500. If I subtract that on both sides, I get 50 times blank plus 5 times blank equals 3,635 minus 3,500. That's 135. Okay. So what goes into that blank? 2, because 135 is between 100 and 150. Now I'm going to subtract both sides by 50 times 2, which is 100. I get 5 times blank equals 135 minus 100, and that's 35. So what's the last number that goes here? 7, because 5 times 7 is 35. So I see that the numbers that go into the blank are 1, 7, 2, and 7. And so the numbers that go here are 1, 7, 2, and 7. So 8,635 divided by 5 is 1,727. So basically what you're doing is you're seeing what the biggest, what the first number can possibly be, right? What it has to be, then you subtract on both sides, and then you keep repeating the process until you get to the end. Let's see a more kind of short way of doing the exact same steps. So I was trying to do 8635 divided by 5. And I'm going to write it like this. Okay. So the first number was 1, and I saw that because 8,635 is between 5,000 and 10,000. Well, I can actually see that I'm going to get a 1 here because 5 times 1 is 5, and 5 times 2 is 10, and 8 is between 5 and 10. I'm looking for what number I can multiply by 5 to get a number that's less than 8, but if I had a bigger number, it would be more than 8. So that's a 1. So what I'm essentially doing is I'm taking a 1,000. 5 times 1,000 is 5,000. If I subtract that, notice that I was subtracting here, right? That's exactly what this step is. I get 3635. Now I ask, how many hundreds am I going to have when I multiply by 5? 700, right? Because it can't be 800, because that would be 4,000, that's too much. But 700 will work. 5 times 700 is 3,500. That's the 3,500 here. And when you subtract, you get 135. Now I ask, how many tens can I get in groups of 5? So 5 times 1 multiple of 10 will be less than 135. It's going to be 20, right? That's the multiple of 10, such that when you multiply by 5, you get less than 135. It can't be 30 because 5 times 30 is 150, which is too much. And that's what I have here, 135 minus 100. 5 times 20, that's 100, I subtract, I get 35, and then 5 times what equals 35? 7. So what I end up getting is 1,000 plus 700 plus 20 plus 7, which is 1,727. So that explains why the division algorithm works. The shorter way of doing it, which kind of skips more numbers, is to just do it like this, where you take the 1 above the 8, put a 5 down, subtract, 8 minus 5 is 3, you bring down the 6, and then you repeat. 5 times 7 is 35, subtract, you get 1, bring down to 3, 5 times 2 is 10, 13 minus 10 is 3, bring down the 5, 5 times 7 is 35, subtracting you get 0, so 5 times 1,727 is 8,635. This is just a shorter, it's basically the same as what I did above, where I explained how it works, except just with fewer numbers. So hopefully this video gives you a good idea about why long division, why this division algorithm works. Thanks.